What's going on, guys? It's Brandon or Tesla Flex, and today we are here at Out of Spec Detailing with Eric from Dry Protected. And in this video, we'll be wrapping my Model 3 Performance in a stealth paint protection film, and of course, I'll be doing it all by myself with the help of the wrap expert, Eric. We'll be using the Dry Protected Defense Plus matte paint protection film that's 8 mils thick, self-healing, and has a hydrophobic top coat. I just took delivery of my Model 3 Performance in stealth gray with white interior, and as you guys know, like my Model Y over here, I love wrapping my Teslas, but I wanted to do something a little bit different with this Model 3 because I plan on keeping it for at least 2 years. So let's go over to Eric to explain exactly what we're doing for this video.
Okay, so we're gonna get started on prepping Brandon's Tesla Model 3 Performance. So I'm gonna take you along with Brandon and show you all the steps from start with prep, all the way through installing the paint protection film, and then all the way through the post heating and making sure that the paint protection film is installed properly. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna wash the vehicle. From there, we're gonna take small pieces of paint protection film and we're gonna practice with these pieces. We're gonna practice on the fenders, the bumper, the hood, the A-pillars, maybe even the mirrors. This is to help build confidence before you start getting into your actual paint protection film wrap. From there, once that's done, once Brandon's built up the confidence to start this wrap, we're gonna do the hood, front fenders, doors, and we're gonna leave the mirrors and the bumpers for last. So what do you say, Brandon? Let's get into it. All right, so before we can start the wash, we're gonna get our wash and rinse buckets ready to go. So we got 2 microfiber wash mitts here, one for me, one for Brandon. We're gonna have the wash bucket here, and then we're gonna rinse off in this bucket. Got the grit guards in there, so this is gonna be perfect to do a prep wash for this video. So let's go. There we go. Push that grit guard down to the bottom. We got our foam gun ready to go right over here. Got some Adams car shampoo in here. So I'd say let's get going. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do the rinse. We're gonna rinse the whole vehicle down, get any dust and debris off the vehicle. All right, let's get to it. Got the car rinsed down. Now we're gonna foam it down. We'll do the top all the way down to the bottom of the windows, and then we'll rinse everything off, and then we'll come back and then we'll continue working our way around. All right, so we're gonna get into the wash right now. And when you're doing a PPF wrap or a vinyl wrap or any kind of wrap for that matter, it really, when it comes to quality of wrap, it all starts right here with the wash. Making sure that the paint, there's no embedded contamination, no bird droppings, tree sap, bug guts, that type of thing. Since Brandon's car is brand new, don't think we're gonna have to worry about any of that. See, you had it wrapped with track wrap all the way from the dealership till here. Good thorough wash. That's how you're gonna ensure a successful installation.
All right, so next we're just gonna start drying off the Model 3. All right, now the Model 3 is completely dry.
All right, now that the car is dried off and fully washed, the next step in the process is we're gonna go around panel by panel and prep it for our paint protection film installation. What is that gonna look like, you're probably wondering? We're gonna start off with going around on each panel, seeing if there's any stuck-on contamination that we might need to clay bar off. If there is any, we will then use a clay bar to remove that. Once that's done, we're gonna go around, we're gonna alcohol wipe the panel down with a 70% isopropyl alcohol. You can use 70% minimum strength or stronger, it doesn't really matter. Just don't go any less than 70%. Once that's done, we're gonna scrub all of our edges, get it ready for the PPF install, and then once that's done, we're gonna take our practice paint protection film pieces and we're gonna get practicing so Brandon can build some confidence and get ready to do the actual PPF install on this beautiful Model 3. All right, so we're about to get going on the paint protection film installation with Brandon's Model 3 here. So when you buy a paint protection film kit from us, whether it is the matte film, whether it's the clear film, you're gonna get sent along a couple pieces of practice film. We have a video in our training academy dedicated to teaching you how to use the practice film before you start your installation. This practice film is for you to build confidence in yourself before actually opening up your kit and starting your actual installation. So what Brandon and I are going to do is we're going to start out very simple just by installing this piece of sample film or practice film on the hood. Once Brandon's got it down with the correct squeegee techniques to make sure there's no moisture staying behind underneath the film, from there we're going to move from this super flat surface with the hood and we're going to come over here to the front fender where we're going to have some body lines and some curvatures of the panel to work with. From there we're going to move over to the front bumper where we're going to have to learn how to stretch. This is like the last thing that you're going to be practicing on before you can actually move on into your actual paint protection film installation. So we got a couple pieces of practice film in the kit. First place we're starting is the hood, fender, and then the bumper. And then the confidence is there with Brandon. We're going to move on to doing the hood with the actual hood piece and then doing the rest of the car. So you ready, Brandon?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. All right, so we got our slip solution here. It's all mixed up. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to spray the hood down. Now it's important to note we have not done our actual panel prep before the actual installation. Right now we're just worried about, or we're just concerned with building confidence installing the film. The film's coming off the vehicle with this practice film. It's coming off the vehicle almost right away. So we're going to spray some slip solution down the middle of the hood. We're going to take our film, we're going to back roll it from the liner. And this is clear film, which it doesn't really matter. Clear and matte film get installed the exact same way. So from here, all you're gonna do before you start is you wanna have slip solution underneath the film. There should be enough slip solution underneath the film that when you let go, you should be able to move it very, very easily, just like this. So that's what you want before you start your install. Got your squeegee, spray that down with slip solution. From there, all you're gonna do is you could actually do this any way you want. So we're going to start in the middle and then we're going to squeegee that back edge down. And then we're just going to practice overlapping our squeegee strokes. Once that's done, you can actually look and inspect to see if there's any moisture bubbles left behind underneath the film, and there are none. So, moment of truth for Brandon. Right now we're gonna pull the film up. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna re-slip everything. Floor is yours. Perfect. There you go. Nice, good pressure. There you go.
Right, now I feel that, the extra stuff leaving the edges.
Yeah. Now you know those edges are down. Now the great thing with the practice film is we send multiple pieces. So if you screw a piece up or you wreck it, it doesn't matter. You've got a couple extra pieces that you can use as well too.
It's good.
Yeah, that looks good. Now when I take and squeeze the residue off the top, I don't really see any moisture left behind, so that's really good. All right, so now we're gonna be doing the practice film on the front fender. So the front fender is a perfect place to practice with. You got a body line here, body line here. They curve apart from themselves the further down the fender they go. Plus the fender's got all kinds of curvatures in multiple different directions. So what we will do is, this is where we're also going to learn how to use our tack solution as well too, because slip solution won't be enough to get the PPF to stick properly here. So same thing, we're going to peel the film away from the liner. We'll put the film on top of the fender, and I'm going to purposely make sure that the film goes over both body lines. That way we can learn how to actually squeegee with the body line. So the film is gliding nicely. That's what we want. When you're doing a panel like this, you're probably wondering, where do you start squeegeeing? Well, before you start squeegeeing, you always want to look for air bubbles like this. Small little air bubbles like that, or moisture bubbles, are completely fine, but bigger ones like this, they can be problematic. So I always like to take the palm of my hand, and I like to just, with my hand, squeegee those out. That way it helps the film kind of take the shape of the panel a lot better. So from here, what you could do is you could take your squeegee and you could start right here on this body line. So now that this is all loose, I don't want to come in with a bunch of pressure and push down on it, because I'm going to wrinkle the film and I'm going to pull it. What you want to do, you could start on this body line and just with very light pressure, make sure your squeegee is on there, on the body line, and just back and forth. You can go multiple directions. Just keep covering, going over that same area. So that's separated this piece of practice film now into two sections. We got this bottom section here, we got this top section. Top section is going to be a lot harder. Bottom section right here, what we're going to do, you got to think water does not flow uphill. So in the situation with our slip solution here, what we want to make sure we're doing is have our squeegee angled downwards, and then we can push that solution down. We do have this finger popping up, so this is where a little bit of tack solution will come in handy. Spray that underneath the film, that's good. Now, I'm just gonna continue to squeegee down, and then I'm gonna come back to this area, rotate my squeegee, but still have it angled down. So that's the easiest part of the fender. Now, we're gonna deal with this area right here, because as you can see, the squeegee is 4 inches wide, and if we go like this, it's not even touching the actual fender in the middle. So what I like to do on these situations, take your squeegee nice and flat, angle it, and then run right along this body line, pushing that solution away. And then when you get to the top of this body line, same thing I did on this one, just back and forth a couple times. And then once you have it all squeegeed down, then you can actually come back and forth with more pressure. You can see how much pressure I'm putting on because I'm flexing that squeegee. And this is going to make sure that there's no moisture left behind. So, you ready to give that a shot, Brandon?
Yep.
There you go.
Does it matter if I go like this way or this way? Like,
no, doesn't matter as long as you're pushing the solution down and out. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, good job using your hand to get rid of that big air bubble. Yeah, that looks good. If I come in here and inspect it, I'm not feeling anything. You nailed it. Good work. All right, I'm out of here. Good luck. You ready to try the bumper?
yeah, let's do it.
Perfect. Now we're going to get going on working with the practice film on the front bumper. So the whole purpose behind this is we were going to teach you how to stretch the paint protection film and how to actually deal with fingers when they pop up. Take your time on this one. We're just going to spray our bumper down right over here. We're going to peel our piece of film away from the liner. And there you go. Now, we do want to have the film laying over inside the frunk a little bit, because I'm also going to go over how to properly wrap edges once it is installed. But as you can see, we have this one-dimensional paint protection film here on this three-dimensional bumper, and we got big finger here, fingers here, finger here. This is where you're going to learn how to stretch. I think this is the best part of the vehicle to learn this on, so I'm excited to actually show you guys this. Now, I'm going to pull the film back. I'm going to soak the adhesive. Might as well just pull it right off the vehicle and do it properly. This is where we're also going to want to learn how to use our tack solution properly as well too. So, what I'm going to do is pull the film back over here in the top corner. I'm going to spray our tack solution. Tack solution is just hot water. All it is, you can see we have this finger right here. All I'm going to do is, watch this. as I stretch that down, that finger disappears. Sprayed some tack solution there as well too. Pulled that down. Got that tacked down. There we go. Now we have ourselves a good bond over there, so I can really stretch the film and not worry about having it lift up. We do have a minor finger popping up over here. Just going to hit that with our tack solution, and it still doesn't want to stay down. It's probably because I haven't stretched it enough. But for this part, what I'm going to do, just re-slip this. So if I take my hand right over here and I stretch outwards, look what happens to those fingers. They all disappear. Actually, I'll do this with two hands. If I have one hand here, these fingers, they all disappear. And that is the whole point behind paint protection film, getting this one-dimensional product to fit a three-dimensional panel. So in this situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the film back, get a little bit of tack solution by the edge, and we're going to stretch this into place just enough that we can see that those fingers are gone. We're going to hold that there, and then we're just going to take our squeegee. We're going to squeegee this edge down. Now you can see it's laid nice and flat. This right here is a perfect example of how to figure out where to squeegee. We got so much tension across this body line, we don't want to take and pull our solution from the top down over that body line because it will get trapped along that body line. So what I'm going to do, squeegee angled flat, and I'm just going to come at an angle like this, back and forth, right along the body line, and then I can take and push the solution out the top. Once it's out the top, I'm just going to go over it a couple more times. Now, what you can do is you can take your squeegee, angle it downwards, and because of the flexibility on these squeegees, you can actually make the squeegee contour itself to the shape of this body line, angle it down, and you can pull your solution down and out. And there you go. Now, I also mentioned we're going to be doing a little bit of wrapping edges. What you're going to want to do, pull the film back. You're going to use your tack solution to flush out the slip solution that's behind the film. And I'm going to teach you how to wrap edges just with your thumb. What you want to do here is, because of the stretch that we've already got across the front of the bumper, the film has kind of pulled itself downwards. Now, all you're going to do is you're just going to take your thumb and you're going to roll your thumb over the edge just a little bit. And you're just going to go back and forth. It doesn't have to be your thumb, it can be any finger. There we go. Now we do have some solution here. We just follow it up with the squeegee, and then you just take your squeegee and you can run right along that edge and squeegee everything down. Brandon, how you feeling?
Doesn't look too bad.
Ready to give it a shot?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we'll start by using the tack solution on that edge,
Right.
just because you want to create your anchor point. There you go.
And then down here as well?
Yep, so you're going to want to spray quite a bit down there. Now you're going to want to stretch the film out to get rid of those fingers. So what I would do, yeah, just like that. Now you're going to need some tack solution at that end, because as soon as you let go, it's going to come back.
Oh yeah.
This is a really perfect opportunity to teach you how to deal with sharp fingers like that, because you stretched everything out on the top perfectly, but you didn't stretch everything out on the bottom. So this isn't laying flat. So if you do have a situation like this, you can just leave that.
Okay.
Spray a bit of slip solution underneath there. Yeah, that's good. So now what you would do is, I'll do it and then I'll lift it up and I'll let you do it. You're going to squeegee down over here like this. Now these fingers, the only way you're going to get this film to lay flat is you have to disperse all this built up material. So we're just going to use a sawing technique, side to side. Now I'm doing this without looking, so this might look a little bit odd. So I'm going to pull the film up, hit it with a little bit of tack solution. All you're going to do is you're going to take your squeegee and you're just going to lightly saw that down. And what that's doing is it's taking these big fingers and it's creating a bunch of tiny fingers that are far more manageable to deal with. And you can always add more tack solution there as well too. You always just want to make sure that you're going back and forth at an angle. If you come straight down, you're going to crease the film, and then you create adhesive disturbances in the film. And there you go.
Wow.
That's how you learn how to saw the film down side to side to get those big fingers to turn into a bunch of tiny manageable ones. So what I'm going to do is make you do it. There we go. We got our fingers back. So tack solution and going side to side with your squeegee. That's going to be the key right here.
I want to start here.
Yeah. So now is when I would spray tack solution underneath the film. Even feel free to pull the film back with your hand to be able to get a little bit further up in there.
Way more in now.
Yeah. Keep your squeegee angle flat. Yeah, just like that, and then just back and forth. This one, I'd spray a good amount of tack solution in behind it. Do it all along here. And then instead of having your squeegee like this, have it like that. Now, for your viewers that are watching this, this is an extreme demonstration of how to manage fingers. So you can see Brandon's just about got it there. In this situation with these two big ones, what I would do, spray a good amount of tack underneath there without lifting too much of it up. Do the same thing over here. I'll tackle this one, you tackle that one. So what I would do is if you take your squeegee, just like that, side to side, short squeegee strokes. Just like that.
Look at that.
Look at that. And if it pops up, just hit it with more tack solution.
There we go.
Yeah. All right, so we're ready to get started installing the paint protection film on the hood. Brandon has got the confidence that he needs to do this. Now, before we do this, we're going to go into actually prepping the hood properly for a film installation. You could do this before you do the practice film. I personally like to do this right before you do each panel. So I won't prep the whole car. We'll prep a panel, install the panel, prep the next panel, install the next panel, and we'll work our way around the vehicle like that. We've got our slip solution here. Just gonna spray the hood down. Now it is a brand new car with not many miles, I'm gonna assume.
123.
123 miles on it. We've got our clay bar right here. Clay bar, what this is gonna do is it's gonna pick up any embedded contamination that's in the paint. Bug guts, tree sap, anything else that can possibly stick to the paint, it's gonna pick it up. So I always like to go in a back and forth motion, never in a circular motion. You don't have to cross hatch like I'm doing. Just gonna do the whole panel like this. Make sure you don't drop it on the floor. That's not good. Now I'm gonna be extra thorough around where the Tesla emblem was. We already removed the Tesla emblem, removed the adhesive underneath it, but just to make sure there's nothing left behind, just gonna be extra thorough on it. Once I'm done, I will show you the clay bar, see if we actually picked anything up. With this being a blue clay bar, it will actually show you if we picked anything up. And as you can see, there's really nothing on it. So kind of as expected. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a microfiber towel and dry the hood off. And then we're gonna take our 91% isopropyl alcohol and we're gonna wipe the hood down and we're gonna scrub our edges. All right, so now we're just taking a microfiber towel, drying the hood off. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take another microfiber towel with our 91% isopropyl alcohol, scrub the panel, and we're gonna scrub our edges. Okay, so we got our isopropyl alcohol on the microfiber towel. So just gonna go back and forth, wipe this down. This is gonna remove any wax, grease, oil, fingerprints, that type of stuff that could be on the paint. You can see it starts to turn a bit of a rainbowy color as it starts to evaporate. That's perfect. It's also important to know that before you do your actual installation, have an inspect the paint to see for any dust nibs and that type of stuff. And there are a couple dust nibs on Brandon's Tesla here, right in the back of the hood there. Yeah, right over here as well too. On matte PPF, you might not see it. Clear PPF, you'll still see it. So now, what we're gonna do is pop the hood open. Now I'm gonna take my microfiber towel with the alcohol. I'm gonna pinch it around the corner, and then I'm gonna go back and forth and really aggressively scrub this. You can hear how much pressure I'm putting on. You always wanna go back and forth. Just going over it once is never gonna do the trick. this is going to help ensure that when you wrap the edges, the PPF has a solid bond that it can stick to. Now we're ready to start installing the film, so let's get to it. Hood's been prepped. We sprayed it down with our slip solution. We wiped it off with a squeegee just to remove any dust or contamination that may have landed on the. Now we're spraying our slip solution on, and we're going to get into installing this PPF kit and really transforming the look of this beautiful Model 3 performance that Brandon has. Now, when we back roll the film into place, what I always recommend, if you have somebody to give you a hand doing it, that's always super helpful. But if you don't, always start by creating a dry spot in the corner of the panel. From there, you can take the PPF and peel it away from the liner. You can stick the PPF to the film or to the paint, and then you just pull the liner out from underneath. And there we go. That's actually looking really good already.
Oh yeah.
I think. What we're gonna do now, I'm gonna pull the film back, and I'm gonna take half the hood. Brandon's gonna take the other half, and we're gonna get this thing PPF. What we're doing now is we're just taking our, pulling the film up, and we're spraying slip solution underneath the film, just to make sure that the adhesive is, that there's no dry spots anywhere. This film, when you have enough slip solution on it, it should just about be willing to slide off the hood. That's when you know you've got the perfect amount of slip solution. Actually, if you want to spray the top of the film down, this is going to help our squeegees glide properly. This is super important as well too. You don't want to have the top of the film be dry, because when you take your squeegee and you squeegee it down, you're going to crumple the film up. So you want the film nice and wet. There we go. Well, just with one hand, very lightly, I can move the film around, and that's exactly what you want. Like I mentioned on the front bumper, how you have to stretch the film to get it into place. That also pertains to this fairly flat hood as well too. Brandon, if you want to come around to this corner, I'm going to go over how to line this corner up. I'm going to tack it down, and then Brandon's going to do the passenger side. So what we're going to do is spray our tack solution underneath the film, and then we're going to pull our film in place just so it's just at the very edge like that. Your first squeegee stroke is going to be light, and then every squeegee stroke after that is going to have more and more pressure as you lock that into place. So now you can go to your corner and you can do the exact same thing. You'll want to use your tack solution, so you want to pull the film back, spray a good healthy amount underneath there. Now you're going to line that corner up. Perfect. Before we start squeegeeing everything down, we can see right over here, we have some fingers where the film has kind of crumpled itself together. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pull the film up, spray some more slip solution underneath the film. Before we start squeegeeing, we want to take our hands and we want to just use our hand as a squeegee and massage all these big giant air bubbles out. We want to get this film to be laying down as close to flat as possible, and we have ourselves a piece of contamination in the worst spot possible right there. When you're squeegeeing out these big air bubbles, this is also a perfect opportunity for you to feel for any kind of contamination. So now, because we haven't squeegeed this down, I can lift the film up to that point right there. We'll lay it back down. We'll massage the air out one more time. And now I'm going to feel for that contamination. And I actually pushed it closer to the back, so now I don't have to pull the whole hood up. I can just come back here, feel for it I should say, right here. And there we go, got that out. Now, I'm just gonna spray more slip solution underneath the film. It's super important that you use a bunch of slip solution. The more slip solution you use, the cleaner your installation will be, the cleaner it will look. We have ourselves wrapped edge. As you can see, the film is wrapped around over here. So, what I wanna do, we have some minor fingers here. I'm gonna get my tack solution, light tap, right in the middle. So I spray my tack solution there. I'm going to pull the film down just a little, and then it's actually going to hold itself there. That's perfect. That's what you want. Very minimal fingers here, very minimal fingers there. The film is nice and flat along the sides. Now we're ready to start squeegeeing. So, like I said, Brandon will do the passenger half, I'll do the driver half. So, I'm gonna start down here. I'm gonna draw a line right out the back. Yeah. There you go. Nice, good. Good job with the squeegee. You're angling it downwards, so you're not pushing any solution back into the previous area you just squeegeed. You have that big air bubble there, I would just massage that out. The only thing I would suggest is maybe do half the length with your squeegee stroke.
Like this?
Yeah. As you can see, actually that's very smart what Brandon did there. He lifted the film up so it could lay flat. What I have right over here is I have some wrinkles. I'm just gonna take my hand, massage those down. I have another piece of dust right over here, which it's right close to the edge. I'll quickly get that out. Big thing when you're squeegeeing towards your edge, you don't want to stop at your edge, you want to follow through. Almost want to pull that solution right into you. And then once that's done, you take your squeegee, you angle it right by your edge, so you're going to push all your solution out, and you just go around your edges, just to make sure that your edges have no solution left behind underneath them. Now, I'm going to grab a microfiber drying towel, I'm going to dry it off. And there we go. So now, what you want to do when you're done doing a panel, you want to inspect it. You don't want to just blindly walk away and go do your next panel. What you're looking for right now is any hair, dust, contamination, because should you find anything, if you didn't find it in the beginning, when you had everything sprayed down with slip solution, or when you dry the panel off, you can look for any kind of imperfections. And because the film has not had a chance to set itself into place yet, it's a good time to lift it up and go after them. But I think we're good. We do have a dust nib right over here that was in the paint.
No big deal.
No big deal. That's very minor. Yeah, Brandon, I would say that's pretty darn good.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now that we have the hood done, we're happy with it. Brandon's happy with the way this install looks, right?
Yep.
You're happy
Looks
with this?
great.
So obviously we have to wrap the edges. Now, I always recommend let the edges dry out overnight. That way, when you come wrap the edges, they're 100% dry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop the hood open. We're gonna take our tack solution and we're gonna come over here to the edge and we're just gonna get really aggressive and we're gonna flush out the slip solution that is underneath the film. So this is just our hot water tack solution that we're using. And we're just flushing out the slip solution. And this is gonna help activate the adhesive and dry it out. That way tomorrow morning when we come in, we can wrap these edges. It'll take way less time. It'll be much, much easier to properly wrap. Super important that you let these edges dry out overnight. Unless you're a professional PPF installer, there are tips and techniques that you can use right now to wrap your edges. But if this is a DIY situation, most definitely let these edges dry out overnight. We're gonna do the front and rear doors here on the passenger side. So I'm gonna take the front door, Brandon's gonna watch me, and then he's gonna do the rear door. So when you're doing a door panel like this, same thing we did with the hood, we're gonna create our dry spot over here. Panel's already sprayed down with slip solution. We're gonna take and peel the film back and we're gonna stick it to the door. There we go. And then I'm just gonna take that, just very carefully, pull that back, and we're just gonna roll this into place. That's good, perfect. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the film back from the paint and we're gonna soap our adhesive. That's good. So when you're doing a door, you always wanna start at the door handle. So we're gonna start right now by lining the PPF up right around the door handle. And because of the humidity we have in the shop here right now, all I'm gonna do, I'm not even gonna use my tack solution because the film is already sticking itself into place. I'm just gonna squeegee this down all the way around it. Now Brandon requested that we add a little excess material on the top, so we pulled the window trims off, but our DIY PPF kit that we sell, even for the matte kit, it's not required to pull those trims off. You can butt the film right up against, but this will just make it easier. If you do order from us and you want to request that, just let us know. We can do that free of charge. So now that we have this area down, what we can do is we can stretch out over to the front. So I'm pulling the film back. I'm getting more slip solution behind the film just because it's drying out super quick. What I'm going to do here is I do have to do a tiny bit of trimming up here because it is a little bit high, but that's fine. We're going to pull our film back, spray some tack solution right there. Now I'm just going to line this edge up. So this edge right over here, we don't wrap all the way around it. We stop right at the very edge. Okay, now that we have the mirrors popped open, I can actually get back inside here. Before I get carried away with the rest of the wrap, I'm just going to get this top edge down. So we're going to start over here, and we're just going to squeegee along the bottom of the mirror, and we're just going to pull this solution down, overlapping squeegee strokes. I'm just going to wrap the film around this top edge. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the film back, and I'm going to re-soap the adhesive, spraying down the panel as well as the adhesive of the film. Now I'm also spraying my slip solution over top of the film too to make sure that my squeegee is going to continue to glide properly. All these air pockets that are over here, I'm just going to squeegee these down just with my hand, just like so. What we're going to do is we're just going to stretch the PPF into place at the very bottom of the door right here. Spray our tack solution in place. Going to hold that there. Now this edge is in place. I can go ahead right now. I can squeegee this edge down. That's perfectly fine. Now we're going to move over back side of the door. We get a little bit more slip solution under the film right here. And this lines up perfectly at the very bottom there, which is exactly what we want. That's perfect. Now we can squeegee everything else out. So we're going to come down over here. We're going to start at this body line right here, which this matte PPF does a really good job of highlighting that. Pulling that solution down, squeegee angled to keep pulling that solution down. Now I'm just overlapping squeegee strokes. So door is done. That's Brandon's turn. He's going to do the rear door. Perfect. Nice. Yep. Yeah. There you go. All right, it's the next day. We're going to get going on finishing up the wrap for Brandon's Tesla Model 3 Performance. So now we're going to be doing the A-pillar. So I'm going to do the driver's side A-pillar. Brandon's going to watch, and he's going to do the passenger side. So it's all cleaned and prepped. Now I'm just spraying our slip solution on the pillar. So I'm going to create my dry spot right here so I can back roll the film into place. I'm going to take my pattern, I'm going to stick it somewhat right in the exact same spot, and then we're just going to roll this pattern right into place. Perfect. Now that it's back rolled into place, what we're going to do is we're going to take the slip solution, pull the film back, and we're just going to re-soap everything. Now, I'm not going to worry about pulling back the rest of the film and re-soaping that. Because of the length of this panel, we're going to start with doing this front section all the way from the very front of the A-pillar up to the windshield, and then we're going to do from the windshield to this divider here and the roof glass, and then we'll finish off with this back portion. We're going to get slip solution on top of the film. We can see this pattern has got a notch cut out, and that is by design, so the PPF is going to stop right over there. So I got my tack solution behind the film. Now I'm lining up that corner. I got that perfectly lined up. I can tack that down. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make sure that the PPF sticks just past the bottom of the A-pillar. You can see right here, there's a bit of a wrap. I'm going to pull the film back and I'm going to squeegee that down, and that's good. And get more slip solution underneath it. So right now, I'm just spraying my tack solution underneath the film, and then I'm going to make sure the edge of the film stops right in line with this window trim right there, and that's good. All I have to do now is just squeegee it down. Always want to make sure you're pulling your solution downwards. I'm going to pull the film back, and I'm going to flush this edge out with all the slip solution. And we're gonna let that dry out for a few hours before we come back and wrap that. Let's continue onward. Come to the back here, we'll pull the film up. I'm just gonna squeegee that down. Just gonna flush this little edge out right here. I'm being pretty thorough and aggressive with my tack solution there. You can see it's kind of lifted the film up. That's perfectly fine. You can just come back, squeegee that down, and I'll do the same thing up top over here. I'm gonna swap out the tack solution for the slip solution now. Just gonna pick this up, re-slip it one more time. You can see we have a notch cut out right there. That's because the PPF is designed to be stretched just past there so we can wrap that edge properly. So right now, I'm just gonna line that up. Got our tack solution underneath the film. Just very lightly with my squeegee, I'm gonna squeegee that down. Everything else that we need to do is the exact same thing we did on the front of the. Just wanna make sure that we're lined up nicely over here. Last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna flush out these edges again. Again, our tack solution is just hot water. Hot water is really, really good at drying out the adhesive of the film and flushing out all the slip solution that's left behind. All right, so I made a mistake. I'm the professional. I made the mistake. I'm gonna openly admit that. Right over here, I actually didn't have the A-pillar moved over far enough. So what I'm gonna do in a situation like this where your alignment is off, seeing as I literally just installed this, you just pull the film up, get your slip solution underneath it, and you can pull the film back because the film is not permanently stuck to the paint. So I'm gonna pull it back right up to the windshield. You don't have to worry about any lift lines because the film hasn't had a chance to permanently bond itself into place. I wanna make sure that I'm lined up over here on this corner. Lock that down. Now I'm gonna spray some tack solution behind the film over here. What I'm gonna do is get a little bit of tack solution along this edge. I'm gonna line that up. And then this finger right here. Just got my tack solution behind the film. Okay. I would let you go, Gus. All right, so we're gonna get going installing the PPF on the driver's side rear fender over here. On the rear fender, there's a tack sequence that you need to follow, and we're gonna start right up over here in this corner, and then we're gonna get this down. We're gonna work our way down over here, and then we're gonna move towards the back of the vehicle. Got my tack solution there, sprayed behind the film. I'm gonna get the film up there. I'm gonna squeegee that down. We have the film sitting up nice and high here. There's about a finger there. I'm gonna pull the film back, stretch the film down so it lays flat. I'm just gonna squeegee down. And then from there, we're gonna come all the way down here. Now we have a wrapped edge inside the door and into the fender well. So all I'm gonna do, pull the film back here, make sure that the wrapped edge on the inside matches the wrapped edge on the outside. Now I can take and squeegee everything down from the top. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go right along this body line. I'm gonna stretch it so the PPF lays down inside that valley, right about there. I got my tack solution in place, squeegee right along this body line, and this is gonna separate the panel from the top and the bottom section. So that's good. So we'll worry about the top now. We won't worry about this bottom section just yet. We'll do that next. So we do have these big giant air bubble here. We have to massage that out. If we don't manage that air, it's just gonna make this installation a whole lot harder. So now what I'm gonna do is stretch out to this corner. So I'm gonna stretch just past that corner like so. I'm gonna tack that down. That's good. Now you can see we're creating a bit more air. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up over here to this corner, to the very top. Got my tack solution there. I'm gonna stretch the film up a little bit, and that's perfect. Now you're probably wondering, Eric, you massaged the air out the first time, now it's back. Why? So that's just the way stretching the film works. If you're gonna stretch it in the proper sequence, you're gonna get the air to come back. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna put just a little bit of tack solution here. And then with one hand, I'm gonna come around, push that air out, and then I'm gonna hold my hand down or finger down on the inside and keep that in place. I can come around and I can squeegee all of this solution on the top section out. Now it's all gonna come out right over here. Just gonna lift this up. So before I get carried away and do the bottom section, I'm just gonna go over this section a couple more times with my squeegee with relatively hard pressure. And this is gonna push out any remaining slip solution that's left underneath the film. That's good. Okay, now we can worry about the bottom section. We're gonna pull the film back again. We're gonna re-slip this because you want the film to be gliding around perfectly without any kind of resistance. As you can see, the film lays flat. We do have a bunch of gloss showing around this edge. We have to stretch the film out to get rid of that gloss. So I'm just massaging the air out from underneath the film. As I'm doing that, you can see I'm stretching it into place. So I actually have a piece of contamination right here. Got that out. Now we're gonna stretch to this corner and tack it in place. I'm gonna hold that down. We're gonna pull down along this edge right here. Stretch that out as well too. The last one we're gonna do is we're gonna stretch the film into place right over here. What we can start doing is we can come up over here to this top edge, angle our squeegee down at the body line, and we can pull all this solution down. Before I lock this in place, I want to make sure that this is lined up and we're not showing any gloss here. So I'm going to do a light stretch down, show you how to get rid of these fingers. So we're just going to spray our tack solution underneath the film. We're going to come up over here. We're going to hit that down at an angle. As you can see, we took one big finger and we created a number of small ones. There we go. Do the same thing here. We have one little air bubble here. We're gonna squeegee out. That's good. Now, last thing we need to do is come right here. I'm pulling the film back and I'm just flushing the slip solution out from underneath the film. Now I'm running right along this body line right over here to make sure that no solution is trapped. There we go. Same thing with the fingers. We're just gonna saw these fingers down at an angle with the squeegee. And there we go. This panel is installed. There's probably gonna be a couple moisture bubbles that pop up, but we'll deal with those later. Paint protection film wrap on Brandon's Tesla Model 3 Performance, and we're just going to do a walk around right now, and I'm going to kind of go over the process that we did. So like you saw in the beginning of the video, we did a full, deep, thorough wash. From there, we prepped our panels, and then we got Brandon practicing on some practice pieces of paint protection film to kind of get into the installation. From there, we started on the hood, easiest panel to install. Then we went to the doors. As Brandon's confidence grew, we went to the A-pillars, rear fenders, front fenders. We did the rear hatch, the rear bumper, and yeah, the mirrors as well too. So overall, I would say the wrap went really, really well. What do you think, Brandon? You think it went well?
Oh, I'm really happy with it. This is probably my favorite wrap I've ever had on a Tesla.
That's awesome. Happy to hear that. But yeah, it's looking really, really good. A lot of hours went into it. I would say 18 hours or so.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad, no. It's So that's typically what we recommend for a full vehicle wrap. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it over the course of a weekend. It should take you about 18 hours. There's a lot of work that goes into it with all the edge wrapping and post heating and just making sure that it's done right. All right, so hardest panels to install on the Model 3 Performance: mirrors, front and rear bumpers. The rest of the car is fairly easy to install, but the front rear bumpers and the rear hatch and the mirrors, they're not bad to install either, as long as you save them for the end of your paint protection film installation. If you do them first when you don't have the confidence and the know-how, you will struggle with them. So that's why we always say start with the easiest panels, work your way up to the hardest panels, and then the bumpers and the rear hatch and the mirrors, they will not be so bad to do. So you enjoyed this, Brandon? You had a good time? You learned something new?
Oh yeah, I mean, now I think I can wrap my next Tesla by myself.
All right, so if you guys watched this video and you thought, you know what, you'd like to try doing a do-it-yourself paint protection film wrap on your Tesla, whether it's a Model 3 Performance, new Cybertruck, or any other Tesla model in the lineup, head over to our website, driveprotected.com, link in the description below. Use code TESLAFLEX. You'll save 5% off your order, and you'll also get access to our exclusive training academy where we teach you panel by panel how to go around and wrap your entire vehicle. Reach out to us if you have any questions as well too.
Alright guys, so here we have it. The Model 3 is wrapped finally in the stealth paint protection film from Drive Protected. I love the way it looks, and I'm so excited that this Model 3 is going to stay in great shape for the next 2 years I own it. And of course, thank you Eric for coming all the way here from Canada to help me wrap this. I probably could not have done this completely by myself on the first try, so I really appreciate the help.
Hey, yeah, thanks a lot for allowing us the opportunity on behalf of Drive Protected to work with you on protecting your new performance. Cannot wait to see what kind of other content you create with it.
Yeah, I'm excited. So guys, of course, if you want to try this for yourself, even if it's just for full frontal paint protection film, this is a great weekend project to do. Go to driveprotected.com and don't forget to use code TESLAFLEX to save 5% on your order. And of course, if you have any questions about the PPF installation or the process, feel free to ask me in the comments. And of course, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.